What if one terrifying moment could shatter everything you thought you knew about reality? Meet Emily Thompson, a 34-year-old skeptic whose life was shattered in a near-fatal car accident. As she faced her darkest hour, she found herself in a chilling encounter with the devil himself, a confrontation that would leave her questioning everything she believed about life and death. What chilling predictions about December will emerge from the depths of her darkest encounter? Can a staunch skeptic find truth in a face-to-face encounter with evil? I remember the moment of the car crash so vividly. It was as if time spiraled into chaos. One second, I was driving home, listening to my favorite song, and the next, everything turned into a blinding flash of white light. It was as if the universe had flipped a switch, and I was thrust into an abyss. The screeching of metal against metal rang in my ears, the crunch of glass exploding in slow motion. I knew I should be terrified, yet in the eye of that storm, there was a surreal stillness that enveloped me. As the impact rocked my body, I felt my heart stop. In that heart-stopping moment, something remarkable occurred. I floated out of my body. It was disorienting, yet strangely liberating. I looked down and saw the scene below. The crumpled metal, the pulsating lights of the ambulance, and the frantic figures of paramedics desperately trying to revive me. Each shout, each frantic movement seemed to take place in a distant world, while I hovered above it all, bathed in an ethereal glow. In this otherworldly space, I was filled with an overwhelming sense of peace. It washed over me like a warm tide, pushing away the chaos below. I could see the despair etched on the faces of those I loved, yet it felt as though their pain was but a whisper, barely reaching me. I realized in that moment that I was connected to something greater than myself, something that transcended the physical realm. The fear of death that had once gripped my soul evaporated. There was no darkness, no dread, just a profound comfort, as if I was exactly where I was meant to be. Surrounded by this comforting light, I began to sense the limits of my past beliefs. As someone who had lived her life questioning spirituality and the afterlife, my skepticism felt like a distant memory, floating away in the void. In this state of being, I was left to reflect. What does it mean to truly live? What awaits on the other side of death? The questions swirled around me, fueling an inner warmth that kept me afloat in this state of divine contemplation. Yet, there was an inexplicable feeling that the journey wasn't over. I felt a pull, a beckoning. Questions began to arise in my mind, urging me to explore further. What happened during those moments when I crossed over? What awaited me beyond that blissful nothingness? As I drifted, a shadow began to coalesce from the edges of my consciousness, hinting at a confrontation that would forever alter my understanding of good and evil. Suddenly, I found myself in a dark void, a space that felt both suffocating and wrong. Shadows danced around me, shifting almost as if they were alive. It was then that I saw him. The figure emerged from the darkness, a silhouette defined by an aura of malevolence yet somehow compelling. His form was shrouded in shadows, but his presence radiated power that washed over me like a cold wave. As I locked eyes with him, those piercing, predatory eyes, I felt fear grip my heart. A thrilling sense of dread mixed uncomfortably with an inexplicable curiosity. It was a paradox that both terrified and intrigued me. What is this place? I thought, desperately seeking to understand how I found myself face to face with something so otherworldly. He appeared as if he had waited an eternity for this moment, and in his silence, I could feel the weight of my own beliefs pressing against me. It was no longer a peaceful confrontation with the afterlife. This was a challenge. "Is this what you've been searching for?" he taunted, his voice echoing in my mind like a twisted melody. It was deep and cruel, rasping against the edges of my existence. "You doubted, didn't you? What will you do now, Emily, when confronted with the darkness, the very darkness you once denied?" Every taunt was a spear, each word igniting a fire in my chest as I struggled between fear and an unsettling allure to learn more. In those moments, he unpacked my beliefs, layer by layer, revealing the shadows I had left unexamined. He challenged my atheism, my dismissal of anything beyond the tangible, anything that could not be measured or quantified. "What if the embodiment of darkness could reveal your deepest fears?" he asked, and I was compelled to consider this question. Could the essence of evil itself show me the truths I had been too afraid to confront? In that moment, I felt stripped of my defenses, forced to grapple with the dissonance of my own existence. He invaded my thoughts, thrusting my darkest fears into the light. Insecurities, failures, regrets. It was terrifying. My heart raced as he held my soul under a spotlight, each painful realization deepening that shadowed sense of dread. Yet, even amidst my turmoil, I felt a strange thrill at the prospect of unraveling these layers, as if I were peeling an onion of my very being. "And here you are," he continued, voice dripping with mockery, yet there was a curious tenderness to it. "You believed you were safe in your disbelief, but true safety lies in confronting all sides of yourself. Good and evil coexist, Emily. That's the ultimate truth." With every word, I felt my understanding of the world, the very foundation of what I thought I believed, start to crumble. What if everything I had held as an absolute was merely a shadow cast by my own ignorance? Was there more to this life than I had been willing to acknowledge? In that uncanny exchange, my perspective began to shift. The darkness, which I had once vehemently rebuked, now seemed a part of me, urging me to acknowledge the light hidden within it. I stood at the precipice of an epiphany, grappling with ideas both beautiful and grotesque. He revealed not just my internal conflict, but also the broader implications of morality itself, steering me towards a deeper understanding that transcended the binary of good and evil. As his presence loomed large, enveloping me in shadows, I teetered on the edge of enlightenment and despair. I was transforming, reshaping my views of existence itself, and the encounter was no longer just a struggle. It was a revelation, and I knew that the implications would haunt me long after this moment passed. What followed was an incredibly complex dance of fear, enlightenment, and bewildering wonderment, a tumultuous awakening that was only the beginning. What awaited me next in this cosmic confrontation would challenge not just my beliefs, but also the fabric of where humanity might be headed. As I stood there, locked in this surreal dance with the figure before me, the air thickened with an inexplicable weight. The shadows flickered, revealing more of his presence. His eyes glinted with a knowing gaze that seemed to penetrate the very core of my being. It wasn't just darkness I was facing. It was a reflection of everything I had been grappling with in my life, a culmination of fears and doubts that had lingered in the depths of my soul. Then, in a voice that rumbled like distant thunder, he spoke. "December will bring a shift in consciousness," he announced, and the words hung heavy in the air. As I absorbed this chilling revelation, my heart raced. I had always been drawn to stories of apocalyptic predictions, yet here I was, in the eye of something that felt both terrifying and exhilarating. Would this be the wake-up call humanity needed? The idea of a societal transformation sent a shiver down my spine. "It will shake humanity's foundations," he continued, as if reading from an ancient script meant only for my ears. Every fiber of my being echoed the fear and intrigue of his proclamation. The world I had known, with its comfort and routine, was on the brink of a cosmic upheaval. I felt a bizarre mixture of dread and anticipation. Could I truly believe that something so cataclysmic was on the horizon? As his words washed over me, I found myself wrestling with the very essence of what it meant to be human. Was I to fear what lay ahead, or embrace the unknown as a vital part of our evolution? In that moment, I grasped the gravity of his message. a profound reminder that our collective consciousness held the power to shape our reality. Each of us plays a part in this grand tapestry, intricately woven together through our choices and beliefs. The implications of his words reached deep into my psyche, pulling me upwards into a dizzying spiral of contemplation. This journey was not just about me, it was about all of us, and the potential we held to transform our world. Yet alongside this promising flicker of possibility lingered the haunting question: how would we respond to the changes that awaited us? The looming darkness he personified was not merely the devil, it was a metaphor for the struggles we all face, the choices that lie before us, and the shadows we must confront within ourselves. This revelation about December became a cornerstone of my near-death experience, reverberating through every thought as I floated between realms. What if the fears embedded within us were the very catalysts for this needed transformation? Could the disturbance he spoke of serve as the catalyst to ignite a more profound sense of unity and light? Suddenly, I was thrust back into a moment of clarity, as if the fog had lifted. The challenge before us would not simply be to brace for the impact of these events, but to actively participate in the collective awakening that was dawning. Would I be brave enough to embrace this journey? Through my struggle with the truths I had encountered, I understood now that I had a choice. The path forward demanded courage, not just to face the unfolding chaos, but to cultivate the light within, to sift through fear and emerge as part of the solution. As the encounter drew to a close, a creeping awareness settled within me, leaving an indelible mark. Perhaps the cataclysm he foretold was not a singular event, but a continuous evolution that I needed to help guide with my own actions and beliefs. My heart raced as I pondered what this meant for me, for us. Was it really possible that transformation awaited us, teetering on the edge of darkness and light? The implications loomed like shadows, and I could feel my pulse quickening with anticipation. The seeds of understanding were planted, and I would find the answers I sought even if it meant grappling with this haunting uncertainty. What would the revelation of December truly bring? The darkness was overwhelming. It enveloped me completely, an oppressive force that seemed to drain every ounce of life from my body. But as I surrendered to this shadow, something began to shift. Moments later, as if a curtain had been drawn aside, an extraordinary light emerged, illuminating not only my surroundings, but also revealing the depths of my soul. In that radiant moment, the weight of fear slipped away. I floated in a vast expanse, surrounded by a sense of peace I had never known. There, in that liminal space between existence and oblivion, the stark contrasts of good and evil unfurled before me. I realized that my old beliefs, those rigid constructs of right and wrong, were merely illusions that carved a path for myself and humanity. It became crystal clear: darkness exists within all of us. It is not merely something external to dread or reject, but rather a part of our human experience. As I lingered in this electrifying awareness, a powerful realization washed over me. The struggle between light and dark is not a battle to be fought in fear, but a choice to be made in love. I could choose to move away from fear, to understand that even in the deepest shadows, there lies the potential for transformation. The light wasn't just a force of clarity, it was a reminder of our innate power to choose compassion, understanding, and love even amidst adversity. This profound insight ignited a fervent mission within me. I felt a compelling urge to share my experience, to bring forth the wisdom I had gleaned from my brush with death. I realized that if I harbored this truth, that we each possess the capacity for darkness, but also the magnificent ability to choose the light, I had an obligation to reveal it. How easy it is to sink into despair, to allow the darkness to define us. But I now knew the other side. I understood that we could rise above it, embrace it, and emerge transformed. I began to think about the stories we tell ourselves and the narratives we live by. How often do we ignore the complexities of our spirit in favor of a simplified view of morality? The inner battle between our light and dark selves is not only valid, it is essential to our growth. The journey out of darkness is not simply an ascent, but a conscious choice we must make day after day. What mission ignited within me to share my story? With this understanding, I knew I could no longer remain silent. The urgency to connect with others blossomed within me. This was bigger than just my personal journey. It was an invitation for all of us to reflect on our truths, to encourage and uplift each other in the face of our fears. I could share the message that our greatest challenges often come wrapped in our most disagreeable moments. Perhaps by embracing this duality within ourselves, we could lead lives that are richer, more connected, and ultimately more fulfilling. The true transformation I underwent was embracing the whole of who I am, both light and shadow. I began to look at others not just as beings of light, but as entire universes unto themselves, each holding stories of struggle, love, and redemption. It was no longer about the clash of good versus evil, but about the integration of both, a dance that defines our human experience. As I pondered these reflections, I felt the exhilarating rush of purpose coursing through me, connecting me to the myriad of souls who might resonate with my story. I wanted to bridge the gap between our fears and our highest aspirations, to encourage others to see the beauty in vulnerability and the strength in authenticity. The light that had enveloped me moments before shifted my perspective forever. It showed me the vast potential within us all to change, grow, and embrace the fullness of our experiences. As I prepared to share my story, I was filled with an electrifying anticipation, ready to dive into the unknown depths of what sharing this journey could bring, for myself and others longing for hope and understanding. Since my near-death experience, I have embraced a life that is drastically different from before. The shadows of doubt and fear that once clouded my mind have been replaced by a fierce clarity and understanding of what truly matters. I learned that each moment is an opportunity, a chance to live fully, authentically, and with intention. The encounter I had, stark and chilling as it was, ignited a transformation within me that I never thought possible. It compelled me to confront myself in ways I had previously avoided. Now I find myself contemplating the uncertainties ahead. December looms on the horizon, filled with whispers of foreboding, yet I see it not as a threat, but rather as an extraordinary opportunity for awakening. There is a unique potential during times of uncertainty. It is in these moments of fear and doubt that we are often given the chance to rise, to confront our truths, and to discover the resilience that lies dormant within us. Every challenge brings with it a choice: to succumb to despair or to embrace the strength residing deep within. Imagine the power we hold when we challenge our fears and doubts. It is remarkable how, in the face of adversity, we can forge a new path, one that offers hope and possibility. Will you be the one to transform uncertainty into empowerment? Throughout my journey, I have learned that relinquishing control over what we cannot predict can lead to beautiful revelations. When we open ourselves to the unknown, we become more flexible, receptive, and ultimately more powerful. Let my experience be a guiding light for you. Take time to don your reflective lens, to ponder your beliefs, and to explore what resonates with your soul. Dive into the depths of your consciousness and unravel what you find there. Our truths can sometimes be hidden beneath layers of fear, but peeling those layers away leads to growth. This is not just about me, it's about us and the collective experience of humanity. Each of us holds the key to unlocking personal transformations, and in doing so, we illuminate the way for others. Remember, the true strength lies within us to reshape our futures. We are architects of our own destinies. As December approaches, I encourage you to prepare, not from a place of fear, but from one of empowerment. Ask yourself how you want to navigate the uncertainties that life presents. Can you turn trepidation into courage? Can you transform anxiety into action? I invite you to reflect on these questions deeply, not just for yourself, but for those around you. We are in this together. Our lives are interconnected, and what you choose can resonate beyond your immediate surroundings, impacting the world in ways we cannot fully fathom. As we face what lies ahead, let us do so with courage and conviction. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in our next video, where we continue to uncover the mysteries of our existence together.